Thank you everyone for coming. Welcome to our faculty workshop on graphic design for world languages. My name is Rebecca Allison and I'm the program manager here at ALTEC. I'm going to help facilitate questions throughout this workshop. And just so you know, the first hour is going to be in webinar format. So you'll notice that your video and your sound is disabled right now, as well as chat is disabled. This is to help us make sure that we can concentrate on the task at hand, and you are welcome and encouraged to ask questions through the Q&A feature that is available through Zoom. If you have any questions or issues throughout, feel free to use the raise hand feature in the participants tool. Otherwise, you can use the Q&A box to ask questions, and we'll try to answer them as they come. Otherwise, we will answer them at the end. And now I'd like to turn it over to our presenters, Karen and Edu.
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and say hello to you guys. I'm actually using Canva to show you around. So we're using a Canva presentation tool for today, so you can see some of the features that you can use as a presentation. And my name's Karen Crouch, and I work at ALTEC, so that's Anderson Language and Technology Center. I have been at CU for 7 years this month, and I started off as staff working with international students in programming, and I've also been faculty at the International English Center. And I was teaching English myself and used this tool. So I think this is an incredible way to engage with people, and I'm excited to be here and present today.
Hi everyone, my name is Edu. I am an international graduate student from Spain. I'm studying a master's in Hispanic linguistics in the Spanish and Portuguese department. And I just have a passion for technology, and I saw this whole switch to online teaching as a really, really cool opportunity to start trying out new things that we might not have been able to try in the past. So yeah, I hope that you enjoy this presentation.
So Rebecca mentioned a little bit about our format today, and we're right here. We're at the welcome. We're excited to see you guys. I know it's really hard to build community now. But at the end, we hope to have that optional breakout and have space to see each other and our designs. So right now in this format, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about why graphic design and kind of look at it from the lens of language learning and teaching. And I'm going to cover Canva. We're going to go in, and I'm actually hoping that you will come in with me, and either you can follow along or you are welcome to just watch and do it later. So it's kind of up to you. You'll have a choice there. And then Edu's going to be gracious enough to go over Adobe Spark. And then at the very end, we'll be sharing information for an optional breakout. And you'll be able to go to one of these, and you should have had an email from me, kind of a guide to getting started. And in that email, you'll also have the links to the Zoom room. So that way, if you get lost at the end, or you're like, how do I find this? Just refer back to that email. The other thing is, just because we are in this webinar format, you might feel like, how do I engage? How do I build a community? If you have questions, please use that question and answer. If we're covering something, we might not be the experts, but we'd love to do it right in that moment. Or if you have a very specific question, you can save it for that optional breakout section. Okay. So do you enjoy looking at engaging graphics? Does it help you remember to decode quickly? And I've put up this slide here. I'm hoping we've got someone in the room that might be able to know what language it is. Feel free to put in the Q&A if you want to guess what language it is. It's kuta, means dog, right? And so one of the point is visuals play a big part in how we process information, really from children all the way into adulthood. Cavemen started writing on the walls. We see images, they emote, they have expressions, they give meaning, thoughts. And as language educators, especially when we rely on verbal instruction, so lecturing, storytelling, and the written word. But I would say, just like Edu mentioned, we're in remote teaching, and oftentimes students are engaging with our courses on laptops, cell phones, tablets, maybe virtual reality soon. And these tools really interface with students and are graphic centered oftentimes. And so as instructors, we might feel, you know, this is hard for us, right? So if you said yes, you know, think about your students as well. Maybe you could use graphic design in different ways, academically, maybe even professionally. So.
And we did have a guess to the language. We have a guess as to Hindi.
Yes, correct. That was Kuta, and that is Hindi. Yay! Good job. So I'll play this one again for you. This is a video function within the presentation, and story time. In US culture, I would tell international students, we'd often talk about roasting s'mores and tell stories around a campfire. And if you're like me, it's summertime. I miss that right now. So I'm going to tell you a story really quick. And when I first arrived to CU, I've been in international ed for about 15 years and taught in other countries. But when I came back to university as a professional staff and then as faculty, I was a little anxious about maybe my level of and ability in technology. And here I am at ALTEC, right? So I think you have to keep an open mind. And I don't know if you guys can also guess what building that is on campus. I'm pointing specifically to it. That is the building I worked at on campus. Feel free to throw in the chat. I'll see if you've got a right answer there. But when I was working there, I hired a student. And a student, she was exceptional. She was doing all kinds of things and promoting and marketing. And I said, how did you do this? She said, let me let you in on a secret. It's called Canva. It's free, it's easy. I've been using it for my TAM, technology and media, in my arts and science degree. It's saved me for so many projects. You should try it. I kind of was like, let me see. I love it. So in the end, I have used Canva, like I said, in the classroom, outside of the classroom, my sister's baby shower, games with my family, a video for my dad. I actually probably use it personally almost more than academically, but what you can do academically is amazing. So that's what I want to get into. What could you do? You might be like, what can I do with this? I would say that don't let your imagination or this slide limit you. There's a lot of things that you can do with this and make your life easier for you and your students, but you're seeing me use this in a presentation format. So presentation, it's a great tool for that. Worksheets. If I want to download a template worksheet, I can change the language, I can add it, I can change the objective, really easy. Videos. So if you've never used Canva before, or if you have used Canva before, but you haven't logged on since January, videos is a new feature. So Canva has had a lot of upgrades this year in particular. Posters, images, and infographics, make a ton of things, storyboards, and don't forget about the students. I think this is a great tool, easy enough. Students can really impress you with what they can do or what they've taken out of your class and maybe do a final project. Okay, so is Canva easy to use? True or false? What do you guys think? Yeah, it's really easy. It's fun too. So don't feel like you have to be limited. This is also kind of a quiz tool in a presentation you can see for kind of keeping up with engagement. I want to go forward and talk a little bit about some quick tips for languages. When it comes to graphic design, oftentimes we struggle if we're working with characters or other languages, and it's very hard. The graphics can change, especially when you go from the actual editing mode into a download mode. And one of the things I wanted to say about Canva is that right here you can see that you can change your account settings, and I can show you that when we go in. And you have this awesome ability to go in and pick over 100 languages, which unlocks additional fonts and templates. So if I went in and I chose Spanish, I would get a whole bunch of templates that would already be written in Spanish, which is amazing. So that's something to think about in your own account settings. also, it has the ability, if you want to upload a graphic package, character, font type, you can do that within Canva as well. I want to take a mention too and talk about accessibility, which I think is really important. And I will share that I am not an accessibility expert. I am a learner, will always be a lifelong learner in this as technology changes. And I think it's really important that we all check in with our resources on campus that we have. And there's a lot of information, videos up there about best practices for accessibility. I just have a couple notes that Canva itself, while it's easy to use, it also, no matter your ability, it has accessible and inclusive design templates in there. So you don't have to be an expert on that. You can go ahead and look at their templates. Also, it's web-based, so it can work on any browser. Like you can use it from your desktop, and you can also use it from your mobile phone. So it's cloud-based as well. It saves all your designs in there for future use. You can also sync this with multiple devices. So, you know, if you want your account on multiple devices, but in general, you still need to follow, like with any graphic design or course design, you know, the best practices. And, you know, best practices include, of course, you know, posting all your work on the course, making sure that you're recording your presentation and putting it up there, embracing multiple forms of media, so not just one type of media, and looking at some of the alternative fonts. And then I want to mention too, if you're working with students who are saying that they have accommodation issues or have a visual issue, visual need, meaning that they have trouble perceiving visual content. So that could be, I put on here, you know, that Canva has color palettes for vision deficiency, color vision deficiency, which is color blindness, but also someone could have low vision, they could have partial vision blindness, and that color, when you have color blindness, that can affect over 12% of the population, I heard at one, you know, accessibility workshop recently from CU. So that really is something to think of. So don't forget, if you're uploading, once you create these images, you really want to have an alternative text for your image. And that way it'll be screen reader friendly. And you would do that in Canvas when you upload it to your course. And you also want to have a high contrast between the background and the foreground, especially if there's text, okay? So high contrast, black and white, you know, if you're going to use color, make sure that you can see it. And the text size is important too. So those are just some things to keep in mind, but also check out, if you Google it, you can see that Canva has a bunch of different alternatives that you can use for color palettes, and something you can check out. Okay, we're getting to this interactive part of our workshop. So I want to give you guys a second. You could either follow along, you could follow along with me and do it, or you could actually just kind of do this later, just watch. So I'll give that choice to you. I think we have a poll though, because I want to get a little information before we go farther. So while this gives you a chance to log into your Canvas, I'll do the same. So have you ever used graphic design tools? We wanted to know, have you used Canva? Have you used Adobe Spark or other? There's some other graphic design tools like Photoshop, InDesign, Pixar, Inkscape, so maybe you've used one of those. I'll give you guys a moment. I'm gonna go ahead and log out of here and go to my home page. All right. Rebecca, what did people say? Oh, okay. So a lot of people have used other graphic design tools. No one has used Adobe Spark. Wow. Okay. All right. And a few with Canva. Okay, good to know.
And I'll just
Right,
note
well,
that not everyone replied, so I'm going to assume the ones that didn't reply, maybe you haven't used any graphic design tool yet. So this is exciting that you're here and ready to embrace some new tech.
yeah. So you can see in here, by the way, this is where I was able to create a really easy slideshow. I have a number of templates here. So I want you guys to go ahead and hopefully you've logged in, and I'm going to go on my homepage as well. And if you've logged in, I'm guessing that you have logged in with your colorado.edu account. I had a question from someone today, a really good question, that was trying to sign up and that had a hard time. Sometimes when you log in, you can log in through Google, which recognizes your colorado.edu. It's usually your identity. So I don't know if you've seen this sometimes, because we have an educational account with colorado.edu, we get this for free. Same with Adobe Spark. Sometimes when you create an account, you might need to put in your identity at. You can also find that information on your Outlook. When you click on your own Outlook, you can see an alternate, a secondary email. So that just might be something to keep in mind if you have trouble getting in or creating an account with Adobe or Canva. Okay, now that we're at this home page, I just wanted to cover a few things. Here, let's look at all these templates. Now, I told you that you could use templates for education. So you've got lesson plan, worksheet, certificate, storyboard, bookmark, class schedule. It's only a few that they list. You can also do great things with social media. So if you're out there and you're taking pictures and you want to pump yourself up, that's a great idea. It's not my thing, but some people love it. You've got a lot of options for personal invitations, cards, resume, postcards, t-shirt design. Awesome. Business, we were in a presentation. You could build a website, business card. Marketing, posters, flyers, infographics, brochure, newsletters, menu, so many options, okay? I'm gonna show you really quick something that's trending. I think this is really fun for instructors. So if you're teaching remotely, you can also make your own Zoom background, by the way. It's kind of fun. We did Zoom backgrounds for, you can add in a little waterfall, you can have it be moving or looping in the background. You can have an inspirational quote. So I think this is really cool and can kind of be a fun little thing, especially if you want to have your own, you know, teacher Karen or something like that, or write in Arabic or a different language. I think that this is a really great opportunity. These are all customizable. Again, I just wanted to show you that when I want to use a template, I click on it, I use it, I jump in, and I change it immediately. It really is that easy, right? And then I can download it. Going back to my home, you can see there's a lot of templates. So I'm gonna finish that up. The Discover section's really cool too. These are kind of ways that you can add on besides using the templates. You can start from scratch. You also can utilize free photos that they have. This could be in a background, or you could just do a storyboard. Photos, again, are free, especially in the educational account. There's icons, which I'll show you in a minute. That's probably my favorite. That's kind of that first slide that you saw, the jumpy icons and the GIFs and things like that. And then I do want to show you some apps. I think this is really worthwhile, or something that you need to know, that if you wanted to integrate, for example, a Bitmoji. Let's say you're teaching in a classroom, you have a Bitmoji and you have that app on your phone that interfaces with your Snapchat, you have your own character, you can automatically go in and shift and add some of your Bitmojis. Ton of apps that you can also put in there. I just wanted to show you can change your images in a really artistic way. Some people like to use Google Classroom and where they save their folders. This is all up to you. I'm not going to get too far into it because we're trying to keep this easy and fun. So if that made you anxious to look at how it does with other apps, that's totally understandable. You can learn more. And so this is the other feature I wanted to share. The student that introduced me to Canva also introduced me to a fantastic concept of just Google it. I asked her how she always knew the answer to things that I asked her, especially with technology. She said, well, I Googled that. There are, and I Googled it, Facebook groups, support groups, Canva groups that you can join and be part of, community, sign up for newsletters, check it on the social media you like, join a website, a project, or if you just want to be passive, you can take a course in it. You can watch a video in it. Okay, so they have a lot of different, they have events that you can join. So it doesn't have to stop here, you know, and you can always watch a video on YouTube. Okay, it's really, really easy. So, okay, so now I want to go through, usually when you have this slide here, you've got your, I can create a design by clicking here immediately. I can search templates. I can also kind of search down here. It's up to you. Hopefully some of these things are attractive as you look through it, like, oh, I didn't know it had so many. Once I finished a design, like you saw me, I immediately had that Zoom background. Might take a minute to load. It saves all the designs that I've created, and you can see, sorry, Edu, for our presentation. He sent me a colored photo. I could upload it. I can change it to black and white, so we're matchy and the presentation looks better. But it usually saves your design, so you can click back into it and your design's saved there. So again, it's cloud-based and web-based, which is great. All right, so my designs are saved here, like the presentation that I have. If I wanted to assign or integrate a class with it, I could save classwork here. I can also decide that, you know, I really like this font, I really like this logo, I really want to keep these things. You can start to create your own personal brand kit and keep it, and then you can apply that to your designs at the end, and that saves you a bunch of time. And I also have folders here where I can play with, and I can see things that maybe I trashed that I didn't want to trash, okay? So these may have been old designs that I was playing with before making this presentation that actually I liked what I did. I want to go back to it. So you can, you know, even if you trash something, you have a safety fallback there. So, okay. So I'm going to go kind of, if you want to follow along, we have that graphic design for world languages in Adobe Spark. So I'm going to show that to you right here. So it should look like this. I may have sent it to you ahead of time, but if not, don't worry about it. We're here. I'm going to walk you through it. So all up to you. The first thing we are going to do, dun, 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 it's going to be so easy and fun. Click on Create a Design after you've logged in. Now, what I would like to do today is, again, power of choice. I am going to show you how to create a course code tile card for your Canvas course. So when you go on a dashboard or your students go on the dashboard, if you want a very specific course title, so you could put Spanish 1010 on there, you could do whatever you'd like. We're gonna make that today. Now, I know there's a couple students and maybe you're like, that sounds really boring. I wanna do something else. Do what you'd like. If you're gonna follow along with me, go ahead and put custom dimensions for a Canvas course. So I wrote this in here, and the first thing we're going to do is we're working in pixels. What do pixels mean from the non-techie? The more pixels we have, the higher quality it's going to be. And this right now, I Googled and found out what is the preferred size for a Canvas course tile. And so that is going to be 262. So type that in for your width. And for your height, you're going to put in 146. Okay. This is going to give you the exact dimensions and the ratios you need. There's no second guessing. You could do this before finding something and create a new design. If you've created a design and later on you're wanting to download it and you don't like that size, there's an ability here to change it, just so you know. Again, it's not permanent. You don't have to, you know, start all over. So now what I'd like you to do, mine's taking a minute to load. Hopefully yours is loading faster. You are welcome to grab from one of these. If it says 36, you probably don't need 36. It's trying to give you a presentation, okay? But let's say that I'm working with and I'm wanting to create my Spanish course. I can search Spanish through templates and I may or may not get anything. It should give you something, so we'll try this. And just to refresh it, maybe it was just kind of sad for a second. I would pick one of these that would not be 1 through 25. So if you've got templates that are coming up, that's good. The other templates that you can search for, you can search for flyers, which are usually 1 page. Maybe you want landscape. And again, of course, thank you technology. As I'm sharing it, I can see the wall of it. And so hopefully you guys can pick one of these. And if not, you can always go to a background, okay? This is fun if you are a color person and you're like, well, I know I like an orange, right? No, I like a bright color. You can go in here and choose that, and if you're like, that is just not the orange for me, you can come in here, you can actually write the code of the color orange if you have branding requirements that you need. You can even play around with the color wheel a little bit. I kind of like it a little more orangey orange, okay? And you've got something you like, you can go back in. The next feature that I want to show you, and you guys, you don't have any questions so far? Anyone having trouble logging in? Feel free to add or type in there if you need to. What we're going to do now is hopefully go in, let's add a little text to it. If you've got your background, you can keep playing around too. I like a heading size. I like it to be pretty big to begin with. That's totally up to you. Over here, you can see I can change the text, the font to be anything that I like, anything you like. Let's go ahead and play around with that. CU, oftentimes they have like a Helvetica New, and they don't really have one or the same font without uploading it here. So sometimes you can choose certain fonts that you think would be nice. And mine's being a little slow today, so I'm just gonna go ahead and put in Spanish 1010. All right, now if I'm in here and I'm kind of like, it didn't capture what I wanted. Let's see if I can go ahead and mix it up, make it bigger. I'm gonna get rid of that. I'm gonna play with the font over here since I don't think it likes it in my search today. You can bold it. Okay, so now it's a little easier to see. Then I'm gonna go to probably my favorite piece in here, which would be elements. And Edu, I know you want to go on, so I'll probably take about 5 more minutes just explaining some fun things and we'll download. And you guys can always come back to this in the breakout. So I just wanted to show you this. Grids are really nice if you're wanting to frame a picture or if you want to put in, you know, Edu's picture, for example. I could add him in there. So I'll just show you how this works. I went ahead and already uploaded him. Dun, 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 if it works. Or not. But usually when you upload the pictures, it slides right into here. And so it kind of fits right in nicely and I don't have to move it around and I can just kind of use that element. So this works really nice for pictures. Let me go back to my favorite part of the elements. Shapes, I think that speaks for itself if you want to add a certain shape. Another frame for photos if I don't want it to be square, or if I don't need it like a layout. And then feel free to play with, again, I think stickers might be my favorite thing. Now, if you are making a canvas card, course card, you are not going to, I believe it does accept GIF files for it. I looked it up. Edu is saying yes. Would it move then on the dashboard? Would you have animation? Edu is saying yes. So, okay, great. So I did look it up and it says that you could do that. So if, for example, I wanted to put something on here that was moving, I could, right? So the other thing I could do is I could say
You need to make sure that it's a GIF though. So
yes.
the ending needs
when
to
you
be
download
.gif.
it, you would have to download it as a GIF, is what you were saying. We're going to download a PNG file for now. So just for fun, if I were to look up, and I want to find something sort of like Spanish font, and are you guys having a lag on your end, or is it just because I'm presenting? Let me know in the Q&A if you're able to search quickly. I usually have great Wi-Fi, so. Okay, so I'm gonna pick a donut for now because it's on there. That's probably not gonna be the best one. But right down here, I can pick all kinds of other things, zodiac symbol, play around with different elements here. Animals. Really, the search has been something easy for me in the past that I've been able to use that I like. There are other pieces that I can add in here. If I wanted to have music, I have the rights to music, especially if I want to create a video, so that's really nice. I have the option in here to add videos. So in my previous design, I had that campfire, and that was really easy to put in. And so that's something that you can add while you are making things as well. Go back to this one. And yeah, I don't know what's going on with this, so I'm gonna abandon it and call that as, you know, we're gonna look at that in our breakout section for now. So when you download this and you've got your right where you want it for time, go ahead and click this download button at the top. Let's choose a PNG for now. Some people are like, what's the difference between PNG and a JPEG? Google it. I'm, again, not maybe the expert, but JPEG is a much lower quality. So PNG is used in much more universal file formats and is the recommended one. So I'd go with that. Again, I can change it. I can have anything else that I want to do with it. But for now, we're just going to download it. And here it is. We have our new graphic design. And I'll show you, I have to bring it over to my other page. Once you have your tile, and I know that looks really tiny, right? Because you're like, oh no, that's the tile, that's the size that we need. So what would you do is you could come over here and you save as. And you can save it, and this is really up to you, right? Do you keep it in your desktop? Do you download it in a file? Wherever you keep it. You can see I've got a busy desktop, so I'm saving it to my desktop. And that's where I'm going to grab it and upload it again later into the Canvas course. And I can show you guys how to do that too at the breakout. So I'll turn it over to Edu for now. And that really is Canva.
Thank you so much, Karen. That was really exciting to hear all about Canva and see that it really is that easy. So thank you so much. And Edu.
Okay, so first of all, to kind of like link together with what Karen was doing, I'm gonna show you a real quick thing. So when you have this is one of the backgrounds that you can have in Zoom. And this was a really cool background that, you know, came out during quarantine, and it was like isolation. But right here, isolation. How many days have you been in isolation? What's your temperature? What's the temperature outside? It's like stupid thing that, you know, you can use. So one of the things that I've been using, or I use in the past with my students, was to have the background of a Hispanic city. For example, this is Sevilla. And I told my students to describe what you see, like, where are you? Imagine that you're here, you know, and it's like a really cool way to interact with your students in a way that's not simply like they're in their homes and they're not really with you there. So this is a really cool way to be in a place, even if virtually. But let's go back to the normal thing, and I'm gonna start sharing my screen. So this is what I created while we were doing the Canvas thing, and I uploaded it to my Canvas page. And yeah, it was pretty cool. When you go to your dashboard, you can see it. It will appear at some point. It's still loading, but you can do that. However, what I want to talk to you about today is Adobe Spark. And Adobe Spark is very, very similar to Canva, but the main difference is that it allows you to create really cool videos. So starting with a project that I have to present this workshop today, this is, you see, it's not a typical presentation. You see that this is more of a web page. So you can just scroll down, and I'm going to show you a couple of videos that I've created with Adobe Spark so that you get a taste of what things that you can do.
Hola clase, ¿cómo están? Esta es mi ciudad, se llama Plasencia y está en España. En mi ciudad puedes hacer muchas cosas diferentes. Por ejemplo, puedes ir al mercado. Este es el mercado más antiguo de España. Este es mi parque favorito, se llama La Isla. Y aquí puedes caminar y puedes salir a dar un paseo. Es un parque muy grande. Durante el verano también puedes bañarte, porque en mi ciudad hace muchísimo calor durante el verano. Podemos ir al teatro a ver una obra de teatro, o podemos ir a la Plaza Mayor a tomar un café o una cerveza. Pero lo más importante de mi ciudad es las catedrales. Las catedrales son dos, una vieja y una nueva. Esta es la catedral vieja que se construyó hace mucho tiempo, pero el dinero se terminó, entonces nunca se pudo finalizar la obra. Ahora es su turno. ¿Qué se puede hacer en sus ciudades durante el tiempo libre?
So that video I made in 10 minutes, and it is a really cool app that you can use with your students. So this was the segue into one of my oral assignments, and I told my students that they needed to see this video, and then they need to create their own, but talking about their cities. And the things that they made were pretty cool. They just had to look for the pictures of their city, drop them, and record themselves doing whatever they wanted to do. This is a really cool exercise if you want to have as an oral exam, but also just to practice pronunciation. It's a really cool thing. Even if, because sometimes you're gonna see like they're reading it from somewhere. Even if they're reading, they're still pronouncing it, so you can still evaluate them on that. And then this is another video that I made, but this doesn't have any voiceover, and it's simply just pictures. As you can see, this is really cool. You can, I literally made that in under 2 minutes. It was stock images that Adobe Spark provides. So you don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to go on Google Images and search for anything. You just go like people camping, tent, sleeping bag, a lake, a mountain, and then they'll give you a million different images that you can use in your videos. So, whoops. In order to show you what Adobe Spark can do, as I told you, it's very, very, very similar to Canva. So you can do page presentations like the thing that you're seeing right now, this little page that you can just scroll up and down. You can make videos like the ones you just saw, but also you can have graphic models, right? This is a template that I just found, and it had a bunch of grammatical mistakes. So be careful with the things that you choose, because sometimes they might have like accents somewhere. For example, it said gracias instead of gracias. So just my advice would be, if you want to use one of these templates, feel free to use them, but do check them before you present them to your students, because sometimes there might be some things that are wrong, right? More things, for example, these can be just simple infographics that you can use with your students. And these are some ideas that you can like use in your classroom and using Adobe Spark. So basically you can just like have oral exams, as I've told you before. This is like my main tool for oral exams. I used to use VoiceThread, but I think Adobe Spark lets you use pictures and voiceover, and the user experience is way better because you just have to click. I'm going to show you in just a minute. But you can also have the students write a script and create a little bit of a story with that. As I said before, pronunciation practice, which sometimes in classrooms is not very not very explicit in the classroom. So this can be a really cool thing in order to have your students just read some stuff instead of just like submitting a little voice recording on Canvas. This can be just, hey, I'm making this video and I'm talking about my experience last weekend. And then just creative material in general. And good thing about both Canva and Adobe Spark is that they will present the credits to whatever images you're using if they have copyright. So if there is some kind of copyright, they will say it. It will be like at the end, or like encrusted in the image, inside of the image. It will be like, these are the credits of the image or whatever. So you don't have to like be careful with those types of things. So just to show you, the interface for Adobe Spark is very similar to Canva. You have all the different things that you can create. You can create Facebook posts, photo collage, presentations, slideshows, and then custom sizes. The thing that you need to keep in mind is that there's going to be a little square with whatever type of media you're using. So the page you just saw is going to say page. If it's a slideshow, it's going to say video. If it's just a post, like a graphic post, it's just going to be post. And then same experience as before, you have all of these different things that you can check and explore, basically. So when we click this and you search for Spanish, you will find the template that I found, some of the adverbs. You can find lesson plans template, class schedules, and just, it's usually very like stupid stuff that you have to like overturn to create your, like to make it your own. Because if you just like use this, it's going to be like, where would you put this, right? So maybe you can use this and customize the size and make it your label for Canvas. So this is an endless array of possibilities that you can use. But I'm going to show you how to create a quick video. So you're just going to have to go to slideshow and then let Adobe Spark do the rest. So if we want to talk about the compras, let's go shopping, right? You have different templates of videos that you can use. Promote an idea, tell what happened, a hero's journey, show and tell. So let's go with show and tell. And here you will see that there's going to be a little tutorial if you want to like see it. It's basically nothing new under the sun. But
I needed that tutorial. When I first started, like it's quick, but I was like, what am I doing?
Yeah, definitely. So you will see that the biggest thing on the screen right now is that there's a plus sign, right? When you do a plus sign, you can do a video. So it doesn't have to be a still image. You can just have text. You can have a picture, or you can have an icon. For this video, we're just gonna do a video with pictures. So you see that here you have find free photos. You can, since this is an Adobe Suite product, you can connect it with Lightroom, which is an app that allows you to edit pictures. But that's, you have to like pay for that. This is free. So when you go on free photos, you're like, okay, shopping. And let's see what happens. Great, I have a picture that I want to use. It's a mall, amazing. So now what we can do is either do a voiceover and say like, hola, hoy vamos de compras. Perfect. And then we're going to add a little text. You have 4 different types of text that you can add. And for here, we're just gonna do full screen. Whoop, whoop. My mouse. Text. And we're going to say de compras. And now, if we want to see what's happening, we just click play. Hola, hoy vamos de compras. Wow, amazing. Okay, so this is just very, 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 very simple, and it's a really cool way to create a video. And as I'm telling you, you can do this in really, really little time. So you can create sample videos for your classroom, and you can do them almost anytime. And with these templates, you're gonna have like different slides that say different things. For example, what it is, why, show it, how, why I'm sharing it. So what it is my favorite mall. Why? Because they have an ice cream shop. Here's a picture of the ice cream shop. How? Well, people go there and they work and they sell ice cream. And why am I sharing it? Because I love ice cream. And then you would just need to add your pictures and your text, and that's an oral exam. I've used this as an oral exam, and you will be surprised of how creative your students will be, because chances are that they already know how to edit videos, and this is a very, very user-friendly app, and it just lets you do so many, many, many things. One thing that this is kind of like a social network too. So one thing that you need to do if you want your students to share the link with you, you're just gonna have to click share and then go to publish or invite. If you don't want to publish it because you know it's your student's work, it's fine. You can just invite someone, like the email of the teacher, and that will be okay. But if you just want to have like a link that you can use in other presentations, for example, in the presentation that I use, you're just gonna have to create the link, call it whatever you want, pick the category, education, create link. And then it's gonna give you a little link that you could be using in the presentation that I showed you before. And basically you just embed it there. And since everything is in Adobe Spark, it will let you use it very, very, very smoothly because it's all in the same. And that's everything. The most important, see, you have here the link. You can also just like email this, publish it on Facebook. You can connect to Google Classroom, same as Canva. And that's basically it. My advice is that you use this very early in your class so that your students know that they have this. You can just tell them, for example, to create a little presentation about themselves and start by, hey, log to this app and say something cool about you. Like, I'm a student, I'm studying anthropology, and I'm doing this and that, and my favorite dog is Nikita, because whatever. And then you have that little video that, you know, can be really cool to create and build community in your classroom, specifically when we're all going to be online and it's not going to be an in-person class that, you know, lets you build community with just staying there for the 5 minutes before the class and simple things like that. So I think this is a really, really, really cool way to build community and use it for your exams and, you know, anything that you can do in the world language business. And that's everything. If you have any questions, please feel free to come to the 30 minutes after workshop.
Yeah, awesome. I think too, I finally got my computer to do it. I love that it's cloud-based, so I just like took it down and put it back up again. So it's working now. But I wanted to say, you know, I think that the ease of this, I don't know about you, Edu, but right now with life being really chaotic, this for me, I don't know if I was an artist, there's something that makes me feel fun about playing in this. So this gives me my own stress relief and way to feel like I get to be creative and have fun. And I also think it's really easy to use for both of these platforms that we've been playing around with. You mentioned something about copyright, and I think that's also really interesting. You know, we often as educators look around for what's an open educational resource or what's something that I can share with fair use in my course, citation, and attribute that. And if you're making it yourself using these templates, you don't, you know, they have that copyright slide if they're using music. It does the same thing in Canva for videos, but I think this is a really nice way that it's your content. So you can kind of work, you could search for it, or you might be able to make something just as quick. So awesome. Well, we're a little early. Are there any questions that came up from people? Participants, you've been watching, so hopefully you are ready to jump in with us on our Zoom rooms and participate and ask questions and challenge us.
So while people are thinking about if they have questions, I wanted to say that Karen introduced me to Adobe Spark when I was tasked to create some Minute Monday videos. If you've been watching our social media channels, then we have a series called Minute Mondays, and that happens on Mondays. And we have some cool videos, and I was able to use Adobe Spark to create some of those, input some neat videos that I've collated from instructors, add some slides in between, music overload over that, and it's been really fantastic. And again, really easy. So let's take a look at these questions. So the first one is, how do you add music to your video? So I think that's for Edu.
I can share that in a second. So when you are on the interface, you'll see that you have layout, theme, resize, and then you have music. So all those things are like the type of things, like the effects when you change from one slide to the other, the type of letter, the font that you can use. But if you go to music, they always have, it's very non-copyrighted music, and it's very like YouTube music. So you can just try and play, and you can hear, and you would just follow everything. Yeah. So you can have like different types of music. And they are ordered by moods. So if you want happy music, use it. If you want playful music, and then, yeah, you basically have all of those that you can use, and this will be automatically added to your entire thing. And they will be faded in and faded out depending on how long your video is. So if you have a video that's like 1 minute and 30 seconds, they will just loop it until you finish your video. And if your video is only 20 seconds and the song is 25, they will fade out the music so that it's not such an abrupt ending.
Great, thank you. And I will mention that I found out the hard way, when you download Adobe Spark, the music that's embedded does tend to decrease in volume. So I had to ramp up the music volume. So just play with it and experiment. Our next question asks if there is an advantage to using Adobe Spark instead of VoiceThread.
I might let Edu do that one since he covered Adobe Spark. I'll say that VoiceThread can take a while, so that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, the most intense thing about VoiceThread is that it takes a while to upload all your videos, and if you want to have an oral exam, I've also had oral exams through VoiceThread, and they extend for days. Like you can have an oral exam starting on a Friday and ending on a Tuesday. And that's obviously if you want to have the interaction, right? The the good thing about VoiceThread is that it is supported by the university because it's embedded on Canvas. So if you had any trouble with that, you can directly contact to the university and be like, hey, something's happening with my VoiceThread. But by the time that you do that, you might as well just start trying it off, to be completely honest. And kind of like as an idea for the for interaction speaking oral exam, you can record Zoom calls. So have students record their Zoom calls and interact with each other, and just give you the link to that video if you want to have an oral exam that's like that.
Great, thank you. Next question. I loved the exercise suggestions you mentioned. For example, students introducing themselves based on the background in Zoom. Are there any other favorites you found easy and efficient?
I can answer from my end, and then I want to hear what Edu has to say, because he's right now as faculty. When I was teaching as faculty, I had some students go ahead and do their own presentations, and they had a choice whether they wanted to record a video in Adobe or whether they wanted to use Canva. I had the funniest presentation on how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and it was a video recording from a student, and it blew my mind how they were really like took out each simple thing and then made a video on it. And then I had students at one point make a karaoke background, and they were going to choose a song, and we were going to take turns kind of letting them present, but it was like a sing-along. And so we used Canva for that.
Did you have anything to add?
You have the possibilities are endless in terms of using Zoom backgrounds, and you can use videos. I don't know if you saw the one that I was doing before, but on Zoom, on Canva, sorry, you can create specific videos, and they will be in the specific size for your Zoom background. So you just have to like add it to your Zoom. And this activity that I did about projecting like an image of a city and just being like, hey, I'm from here, what can you see, and things like that. You can play like describe the cities. You can play kind of like a hide and seek with students and be like, okay, so there's a lot of things in this image. What's happening, right? There's also a function on Zoom that you can annotate the screen share, and you can just like annotate other people's things. So you can annotate on like their screen that they're projecting, and you can just have a specific picture that you want to use and use some kind of like fly swatter game and things like that. So.
And I just wanted to address, I kind of wrote in there, but in case you guys didn't notice, Anne had a really good point. And just, you know, I have a personal account, Canva, because I didn't know there was ever an educator one. But if you are looking at images, and then when you go to download, if it ever says like charge for this image to get rid of watermarks, or you may have chosen an image when you look at like the elements or the photos that say pro with a star. And if it says pro with a star, you probably opened a free account using a different email, or maybe it, like I said, you maybe didn't log on through Google or use the identity key, so it doesn't see that it's an education account. That's pretty easy fix. I can help with anything like that in Breakout, but don't pay for it. It is free for you. It is free for your students, so there's no need for that. Good question though.
And I'll add that if you are having a student who has accessibility concerns and you've created a video, you can always upload this to your personal YouTube account and make it unlisted, and then you can add captions there. It does recognize captions pretty easily. I've done it as well, and you could do it. We've got one more question. Can you show us again how to upload the tile in Canvas?
Do you want to do that, Edu, since you showed everyone?
I have my Canvas open, yes.
Thank you.
So, see, now it's right there. So when you go on your course, it doesn't matter if it's published or not. You just go to your course. It's taking a while to load, just be aware of waiting time. But open your course, and on your left, over here, you're gonna have a list of all the apps that you have in your course. If you go to the bottom, or whatever settings are, go to settings. Like they're right here.
And while he's waiting on that too, I put a link in that worksheet for graphic design and kind of that getting started that actually links to these instructions from the Canvas community on how to upload. So if you're wanting to do it again later and you forget, you can go back and just click on that link.
So very, very easy. When you're on settings, you have to be on the tab of course details, and you're gonna have an image. If you don't have any images on your title, nothing's gonna appear, and you're gonna have a little button that says choose image. If you have a GIF that moves, I used to have one for my other course, you can just like choose the image and be like, either remove if you have one, or you can choose another one, and you have to just drag it over here, and that's it. I don't know what unsplash means, but I don't know.
Or you can just click on there and upload it from your desktop where you saved it or wherever.
Exactly. And then give it a little while, because it takes a little bit to publish it, since the Canvas thing on your dashboard, it's like more public. It has to like do all the internet thingies and get there. But if you have that image there, that's cool. And then you have to make sure to do down here, update course details. Because if you don't do that, then you're gonna have to do the process again, and the image that you uploaded will be lost. And you just have to like reload it again. So update course details, and you will have a little message here that says your course has been saved, and then you're done. And just go to your, give it a couple of minutes so that it recharges, but yeah, reloads.
Great, so thank you, Karen and Edu. We are at 2:02 right now. So I am going to share the breakout room locations with everyone. And you can see this here. So we welcome you now to join Karen and Edu in either Canva or Adobe Spark if you have time. This is an opportunity for you to get hands-on practice in using these tools. So we'd love for you to join us.
Yep. If you have any issues, you won't be able to click on the links, obviously, or copy that. Again, it was sent to you guys maybe in the sheet. So if that's easy, you can go back to your email, or you can just put the meeting room in, which is located like 309-052-099-0933.
Yes.
So you can just follow that. So awesome. Well, I'll see you guys in there. And thanks.